Hello everyone, Don from Esports News UK, part 2 of my interview with Torok. First one was about Verdant, the team that you played with, but your main role in esports now, at the moment, is head coach of JDXL, which is XL Esports League of Legends Academy team. So yeah, how's it going, Torok? Well, we've already
We're pretty
said
good. Yeah, we're doing all right. Yeah.
I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. Tell us a bit about, I don't know, the JDXL setup at the moment, because I think you got to playoffs for the most recent NLC Division 1. Didn't make it through. We've had Bifrost and X7 still playing in the EU Masters at the moment. X7 doing particularly well. But I guess, reflect back on this has been the first split, right, of the NLC Div 1 since Freaks for You took over as organisers.
I think it's been an interesting split for a lot of reasons, mainly because there was all the new orgs coming in, right, or at least a lot of new ones, X7 being one of them, Bifrost being one of them as well, right? So in a sense, it showed the calibration did work and brought in some new organizations that are putting some more vitality in the scene, that are bringing sort of their own competition, their own edge. And I think that's definitely been nice to see, because when the calibration was first announced, you don't know who or what is going to turn up, right? And so there was a very real chance, okay, Division 1 could end up being orgs that funneled in loads of money for the calibration and then rug pull it as soon as they got the spot, right? But it seems for the most part, everyone who's made it in is really been making an effort, so that's really good. And I mean, X7 and Bifrost both being in EU main stage, crushing it. I think it shows some good things for the NLC.
Yeah, I've been really happy with that, because previously in the EU Masters, although the UK teams or NLC teams made it to the finals last year, before that we didn't have a good record. I think before that the best we got was Fnatic Rising got to the semi-finals back in like 2018 or 2019, something like that. And so part of me always feels like, oh, UK, we're not going to do well, we'll go out in the group stages. But, we've shown this region is resilient. We might not have the views that France and Spain have, but we can play with the best, can't we?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, I know from scrimming all the top teams, from watching how X7 play, watching how Bifrost play, the NLC itself, especially at the top end, but I think even moving in around the top 6, we have very competitive teams. And it's a really nice thing, because you say we only made the finals and then maybe one folded in group stage, right? It was usually one went up and one went pretty low down, right? But we've been a region with 2 seeds for such a long time. And every single time, one of those teams is actually going deep runs over and over again. And you've got to imagine, Spain, they've had 3 for the last 3-4 years. Same with all the other major regions, right? Whereas we're coming with 1 in playing stage, 1 in main stage. And we've got to hope that they take off, and they nearly always do. And I think that's something that's really special for the NLC, is we are kind of the underdog region in that sense, because nobody watches it. People think we're not going to be very good. And I mean, we even saw the notorious K-Corp fans are usually very defensive about their team's performance. But when they played versus X7, they were like, wow, we've never even seen you guys play before. We don't watch the NLC. And you played some really beautiful League of Legends versus us. And I think that's only a positive, right? That there is a respect, I think, that's finally coming for the NLC. The NLC having a good product now. I think the broadcast has been a million times better. And, putting that all together, I mean, you got to hope we're on the rise.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad X7 beat KC, by the way. I thought that was it was a decimation as well. It wasn't just a win, was it? Like, so I guess you will still support. I know you will be upset that JDXL aren't in there, but I still feel like there's that togetherness. If JDXL can't make it, you'll be supporting those other teams, right?
Absolutely. Fury was my old mid last split, and so seeing him on Bifrost now, and finally making Masters, because we got reverse swept by Fnatic in that final cut-off Singularity last time, right? So it was very much like, come on, Fury, you can do it, And okay, whatever about the final, right? Because now they're in the main stage, and I think they just took a game off BDS Academy again, right? So it's really nice that different people in the ecosystem are staying around. They're knowing each other. I did Bifrost's calibration run for them. I was coaching for them then. So I've got so many links with some of these teams that are now representing us in E-Masters. I've rarely left the NLC scene in terms of my overall coaching career. It's been UK or the Nordics before it all merged. A couple of random ones here or there, but I'm really passionate about this region. And so I think it finally getting some of the attention, some of the investment that it deserves as well, I think is really beautiful to see.
Do you think if your boys JDXL had got to the EU Masters, you'd be putting in a good fight now? I know it's a theoretical question, but
yeah, absolutely. I know for a fact that we can beat every single team in Europe, and yeah, okay, we didn't make it. Sucks, right? But I think that just makes it even more exciting because we're sat now waiting for next split with Bifrost and X7 both doing good things. I don't know if Riot will change the seeding for summer, but more importantly, that means that we've got at least 3 teams, probably potentially 4 or 5 when it comes to summer that can do real damage at E-Masters. And I think that's crazy because most people say if you don't see scrims or know anything what's going on, you just tune into E-Masters. You don't look at the NLC as one of the big teams you have to look out for. But in reality, we've got title runners every single time, and that's great.
Yeah, the whole seeding thing has been debated. I mean, I haven't covered it that much because people have been talking about it for so long, but each time it comes around, when EU Masters announce the seeding, I do feel like we deserve 3 seeds, but then maybe Riot and Freaks for You are looking at it and thinking, well, if we don't have the viewers that France has, we're going to give them 2 rather than 3. Everyone in the NLC scene seems to want 3 seeds, but it's ultimately a decision for Riot and Freaks for You, right?
It is, right? At the end of the day, I just wish they would show they're working. Because there's this algorithm or this process that they say they want to go through, and they do it every single split, and they say, well, the NLC hasn't got it. But by every method that I've conjured up or I've done calculations before, for example, Spain should not be getting the seeds it has based on past performance. They're not making deep runs almost ever, but you've got to remember viewership's very high. Ultra League are getting pushed to 4 seeds this split because they merged with the Baltics, but when the NLC merged, we lost the seed. You know, there were some very weird choices that are being made by this algorithm, and I know they're saying they're updating it. E-Masters is slowly getting better each split. For example, I think they added seeding for play-ins this time around, which made it a lot more balanced, made it a lot more fair. And so I think they're getting there with the product. I just wish it was given a bit more hands-on attention, because there's clearly a lot of things that E-Masters could do differently in terms of how can we take this to the next level. And I think part of that would be, let's make the seeding process fair, obvious, and publishable to a degree, and then also let's get proper English broadcasts done for the entire event. Because right now I was a part of the volunteer army casting playing games, and you know there were 4 going on at the same time, all volunteer English casters doing it, and it's a great thing that people are willing to do that to put these games on. Well. But it's also really weird that you've got this culmination of European talent, and I think it's more than an academy system at this point. It will grow into something bigger. And if you can actually get those playing games stretched out as well, I mean, this could be a tournament that everyone around the world actually wants to watch. So I really hope it turns into that.
Yeah, I like how EU Masters has grown. When it started out a few years ago, it didn't have the interest it has now. With teams like KC and that, you've really got this fan base united, or not always united, but a lot of people watching together, which is great to see. I guess lastly then, Torok, what's next for JDXL? You know, it's been hard for you because you had 2 great players in Marcoon and Advienne called up to the first team last year. I know Advienne, it must be tough for him, right? Still looking for a new team, but yeah, what's next? Yeah, your views on that, I guess, and what's next? Yeah,
I mean, the entire Advienne situation is incredibly sad for him. I mean, I can understand why XL moved in the direction they did, but I mean, that must be, as a player in that position, after pretty much being built around, you know, taken from that summer roster, saying, okay, we're promoting you coming into summer, and then being dropped after 2 weeks must be pretty devastating. Yeah. I really, really hope he has a great team for summer, whether that is, whatever that looks like. I really hope so, because that situation was one that I don't think anybody wants to be in. I don't think anyone wants to put anyone in that situation either. So that really was tough. I think in terms of our new rebuild, naturally we came in this split with like Dan, Kreis from the main team as well, Eminez coming in. I think it's really important that, you know, when we move into summer, we keep showing the same flair and the same differentiation from other teams that we developed in spring, because we know it's a style that is very aggressive, it's very exciting, it's very innovative, and you do sit on a knife's edge sometimes because you're trying to break the barriers of what other people think you can do, and that doesn't necessarily score you wins. Right? Yeah. There are important wins that you miss out of because you're trying to do what you think is correct and will make you a better team in the long run. And maybe that means you go into, you know, the first round of playoffs and lose to Riddle, but that's fine, because maybe come summer, you know, everything clicks and suddenly maybe we're an E-Masters team. And, you know, not only that, but the players have experienced that. So when they do go up again, because I'm sure these guys will, you know, they can take something new or something interesting to whatever roster they end up on after Academy. And I think that's really important, that Academy is not just there to pump out results. I love them, don't get me wrong, but let's make sure everyone is still enjoying the game. Let's make sure people are trying to innovate within the game. Let's make sure that they're actually still evolving as players rather than just fitting a structure that will make their current talents win. Because at the end of the day, if there is a level that anybody can go above their current station in the academy, right? They go back to LEC. I mean, maybe they're one of the best players, right? If they find the extra gear, and I think that's really important to try and find.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, Torok, thanks for talking to me. I'm going to ask to end on, is there anything else you'd like to add? And also, we're going to see more Vi picks, because I'm a big fan of Vi in League.
Well, Vi, unironically, is a good champion gated by clear speed. And it's really sad that her clear is so slow, because the kit itself is something that's quite workable with. But, I mean, I'd love to pick Vi more. I think she is pseudo-viable, but it's going to be a niche thing. Maybe,
was that a pun intended?
Maybe season 2 of Arcane, right? Maybe then I've got a good enough excuse. My players are like open to the idea of playing their favorite characters, and I might be able to go from there. But no, I don't think I've got anything else to touch on.
Okay. Was that an intended pun there when you said viable?
No, I'm just a natural comedian.
Thanks a lot, Torok, for your talk. Thanks everyone for watching this. I'll be back with more Insomnia coverage. To be honest, this might be going out after Insomnia because it's the last day tomorrow and I've got so much on, all the opens. The final is on now, so we're going to go and head that, right, and see who wins the League of Legends Open final. Thanks to Aegon by AOC for sending me here, and thanks for watching. And follow Torok and JDXL on socials. Thanks for the interview.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks very much, Torok.